Hello and welcome to Growing Up Strong. This show is for anyone who cares about children, families, and the success of the community you live in right now. In fact, we're going to share some information that may surprise you, but it will also make you very happy that you live where you do today in your neighborhood. Join me in welcoming the fairly, almost brand new, Chief Executive Officer of the Children's Services Council, Lisa Williams-Taylor. It's such an honor to have you here this evening.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, before we jump into your goals and who you are, let's talk a little bit about Children's Services Council because people may see it on their homeowners, on their tax bill. They don't really realize the impact that your organization is making on everyone in Palm Beach County. Talk about that.
Well, we were established in 1986, so we're going on our 30-year anniversary here in Palm Beach County. We are a government organization, and we fund programs and services for children and families prenatal through the age of 18, with a primary focus on prenatal through age 5.
Now, prenatal, so even before a child's born, you're looking at that and kind of helping the mom, the dad, the family. Why? I mean, why prenatal to 18?
Prenatal is an important part because the health of a mom is so critical to long-term success of that child. Believe it or not, there's research that shows that things that happen when the child is actually in the womb can affect how chronic diseases and things later on in their life.
Really?
There's longitudinal research to show that. So it's so important that we focus on mother being healthy, knowing what to expect so that she's really prepared for when her baby's first born.
I know that when I was pregnant, there was that book, What to Expect When You're
Yes.
Expecting, but this really goes beyond that into clinical scientific research about the programs that where you see the moms learning how to go through labor and what to eat, what not to eat. Is that kind of what you're talking about? I know we visited one, but is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Women and families need to know about nutrition. They need to know what not to do and what to do. Stop smoking because it can affect babies being born preterm or low birth weight. There's so many things that a mom does, and actually it happens even before she becomes pregnant.
Really?
Interconception care and preconception care is really important. Mother should be as healthy as she possibly can be before she even has a child. It's important to know what to expect as they're moving forward to not only having the child, but then long-term, what child development, what to expect when children grow up.
And that's so important. But you also have a program that literally goes into expectant moms' homes or where they're living. Yes. I think we have some video, but talk about nurse-family partnership.
Sure. Well, within our system of care, and that's inside speak for how we really organize all of the programs and services so that it meets the needs of the family. One of our systems is our Healthy Beginning system, and within that system we have quite a few home visiting programs. Nurse Family Partnership is one of those home visiting programs, and it is a service where a nurse works with the mom. She goes right into the home and she makes sure that the mom's getting adequate prenatal care, talks to her. There's a whole parenting curriculum, so it talks about what to expect, how to take care of yourself before the baby's born. And actually, once the baby's born, it continues to work with the mom until age 2, till the child's 2.
Wow.
So this is to really help parents that are new. It's for first-time new moms, so it really helps them to know what to expect as their child's growing up.
Well, there's no promises, there's no absolutes. Even with, help and care, your baby can be born early or born, not proper birth weight.
Right.
But you even have services and programs that can kind of guide people if they're in that position.
Right. We actually have hospital liaisons that go into the hospital and really help moms navigate to whatever services they need. And you're right. I mean, you can do everything right, and low birth weight, premature, that can happen to any woman, any family.
And I like that you said that, because one of the things I think you and I kind of talked about before going on is your priorities are letting people know this is not for a specific audience. Children's Services Council doesn't say you have to fit this mold and then we will have a program. Is that?
Exactly. We do really focus on universal support for our entire community. So whether it's preterm, doing what we can to prevent preterm or low birth weight babies. We also know that any child can have a developmental delay, so it's really important for us to be screening at any opportunity that we can find for developmental delays. So we focus on doing developmental screenings in child care centers. We have some new programs in pediatrician offices. The other thing that we do is parenting can be difficult,
Amen.
I can remember when I
Amen.
first had my little 8-year-old. He's 8 years old now, but we can all use help at different times. So we have parenting programs, and that really is universal. Anybody can struggle with everything from tantrums to picky eating to when a new program that we're going to be funding is a teen parenting program. So parents of teens. We all know that
Okay,
adolescents,
everyone watching needs that. I can just say that.
Yes. Adolescence can be a difficult time period for parents. So we have a program that's actually going to be coming forward soon to help parents with some of those adolescent troubling behaviors.
You mentioned pediatrician's office. I know in other shows we've had a chance to talk to doctors around the community that are really impressed, I have to say. And you got to visit with the head of the Palm Beach Pediatric Society to kind of get a feel for how this program is going. So let's take a look at that real quickly, okay?
Great. So tell me a little bit about the programs that are happening right here in these offices.
In this office, we have the Healthy Steps program that we register children from 0 to 3.
Once a child is registered in the Healthy Steps program, each doctor visit becomes a bit more special for both the baby and the parents, with a special emphasis on bonding and development.
Before the provider goes in, the developmental specialist goes in and checks in on them, sees how they're doing. Mostly looking for development, 4-month-old, are they rolling over yet? But also looking for the social emotional development and making sure that there aren't the signs of possible issues with the relationship of the parents and the child.
Finding out how things are going between mom and baby is just as important as vital signs like weight and height.
The program helps as a pediatrician or a pediatric nurse practitioner because we are only really, given that 10 to 15 minutes to see a baby or even an older child for checkups. So this is an extra set of eyes that is on the child and the family to make sure that there isn't a developmental delay falling through the cracks or an issue with infant mental health, which is a kind of a new concept, but we're learning a lot more about these days. That there's not something that we're missing in that 10 to 15 minutes that we're with the family.
If a problem is detected, Healthy Steps provides a system of help that parents can plug right into. This immediate care comes early in the child's life, meaning a much greater chance of helping him or her overcome any developmental delays.
So Healthy Steps is delivered in the offices as well as Reach Out and Read. So what does it look like when you're doing a Reach Out and Read program in the office with a patient?
The Reach Out and Read program is a program where we give 0 to 5 books when they come in for their checkups. Developmentally appropriate books, which is important because it teaches the parents what a developmentally appropriate book for that child would be. It also encourages the parent then to engage their child in reading.
So this is where you would do the Reach Out and Read program.
So I'm the developmental specialist here in the office, and we are enrolling families into the Healthy Steps program, and that program follows babies from 0 to 3 years old to see if they're developing well for their ages. And during their visit time, after the doctors finish with them, I give them books from the literacy program so that we make sure that the parents are reading to the babies, and that builds literacy and also language, the amount of language that they're going to need to grow up.
That makes a huge difference for our children in this community.
Yes.
So thanks for all that you do.
Thank you so much.
I love that you went where the action is, right into the pediatrician's office, rather than try to get moms to go to another place after they're so busy. You know how that is. And just the getting in and out of the car seat thing. So they're already there, and you're providing that service. Why, I know you talked about it a few minutes ago, but prenatal, then you said specifically around 3 years old. Why is that so important in a child's development, that time in their life?
Early childhood research has shown, it's really, in the grand scheme of things, relatively new. It's been in the last 20 years, I'd say, that we really understand the impact of early childhood on the brain and the development of the brain. It's when all the circuitry is being created, all the synapses and neurons are all working the way they need. And there's so much that families can do to help their baby's brain develop that they may just not know. So healthy development from the very beginning, being born healthy, making sure that a child is not abused or neglected, and making sure that the child has a really close bond with whoever, mom, dad, grandparents, that there's loving, caring adults, the person who's watching our children sometimes 10 hours a day at child care centers. The child needs to feel loved and nurtured. That all helps the brain develop so that they can be successful later on in life.
So what Children's Services Council does is take what you just said, which for many of us is not PhD level people, is kind of above our pay grade, so to speak. You take that scientific research and you break it down into easy access programs, something that no matter where you are, first-time mom, mother of a 10-year-old, you can grasp and take home something.
Right.
Am I getting there? Is that?
Definitely. All of that research over the past so many years has resulted in what we call evidence-based programs that are proven to work across the country. And what we've done at Children's Services Council in Palm Beach County is really to look at what services have the best and greatest impact on children and families, and make sure that we have them right here in our community for families.
One of those is the importance of literacy, and I know you and the Palm Beach County Literacy Coalition work very closely together. We've done several stories on readiness to learn is all about reading. So while we talk, I think we have some video of one of my favorite programs you all do, I have to say, because it's just so cute. It's happiness, what is it?
Happily Ever After begins with reading.
Happily Ever After begins with reading, not with those glass slippers, ladies. So
let's find out more.
Thank you. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. Well, I'm very, very excited to be here today with all of you because I absolutely love to read. How many of you like to read? Oh, very good. That's wonderful. So we want to make sure you have a book to read over the summer. And I know some of you may say, well, I'm on vacation over the summer, right? Why do I have to read? But it's really, really important because if we don't read over the summer, sometimes we can fall back behind. So it's important so that we're ready for third grade when we get there, right?
Poinciana Elementary in Boynton Beach is just one of many schools where the CEO and other local leaders take part in this annual event. It's all about getting kids to read even when they're not in the classroom.
Reading can be lots of fun. We can read with our parents, our grandparents, our friends. We can read with our brothers and sisters. We can go with our teachers. We can go to the library. We can read books and magazines.
Children's Services Council donates books so that each student can pick out one and take it home for free. The idea is to let each choose a book that is interesting to them, making it much more likely they will actually read it.
I'm completely amazed at how engaging the kids are with this whole process and how many books that the Children's Services Council is donating to our students. They said it's about 100,000 books that we're giving out to all of our elementary students. It's huge for them, especially because some of our students actually don't have books at home at all. So it gives them an opportunity over the summer to keep up their reading skills, which is just fabulous. So I couldn't be happier.
School board member Erica Whitfield was just one of many of the adults who took time to sit and read with these second graders. While the day is definitely a lot of fun, there is a serious undertone. As research shows, kids must be good readers by the third grade.
Grade level reading is so critical. We're really focusing on getting all children at grade level by 3rd grade for numerous reasons. Everything beyond that is reading to learn. So the minute that they're not at grade level by 3rd grade, they can suffer setbacks.
What kinds of things do you all like to read?
I like to read big chapter books.
Great.
Have you heard of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Oh, I have.
Yes, we are reading that book right now, and it is very fun, and that's why I want to read every day and night.
That kind of excitement about a good old-fashioned page turner is why the CSC sponsors this annual event just before the end of the school year.
It's a really good opportunity for parents to engage with their children and be engaged in their education, but also for our students here to be able to be successful readers will ensure that they have a good foundation for the rest of their days in our schools and beyond.
Once the 2nd graders pick out their very favorite book and take it home, it's time for parents to do their part.
We want to make sure that families understand the importance, and really it's from birth. From birth, we want the parents reading to the children. We want them assisting with the children as they're learning to read. We want books put in their hands. You can read with friends. You can read with family members, with grandparents. You can read by yourself. There's reading for learning. There's reading for pleasure. We want children to understand that the importance of reading is lifelong.
Well, it sounds like everybody is going to be doing lots and lots of reading over the summer. I know I'm going to do reading over the summer. Who else is going to do reading over the summer? That's fantastic. Well, I wanted to thank you all for having me.
Let's give Ms. Nobles a round of applause.
So why launch something about books? I mean, I at first thought, what does that have to do with Children's Services Council? Books.
Well, it's a good question because we actually have a lot of questions about, does giving books to kids really promote literacy? And actually, research will tell you there's been really very rigorous research to show that adding books to a children's library or building that library for children impacts whether they're going to be ready for school, as well as 3rd grade school success. We all hear FCAT scores and reading on grade level, all the way through literacy long-term into adulthood. So building a child's library, getting books in the hands of children is critical, and we feel really very strongly about that.
And I love that the program, and we see in the video, lets children as young as I think 2 and 3 literally pick out their book.
Yes.
Because again, your research shows that if a child chooses the book, they'll be more likely to want to read it?
Yes, yes. They get excited about it, and it shows their own interest, and if you can build on their own interest, you build that love for learning and for reading.
And let's talk, because we probably have grandparents and maybe parents, older parents that kids are grown now, and they're thinking, okay, well, my kid reads. What do I care if this 5, 6-year-old reads? Because reading 3, 4, 5-year-olds become high school graduates.
Yes, without a doubt.
And what does that mean for the greater good of Palm Beach County?
High school graduate mean we have more people successfully entering adulthood, paying taxes, working, contributing to our society in a positive way. They're less likely to be engaged in violent behavior, which in general makes all of us safer. It makes our community a safer place to live.
What about, I know the Happily Ever After, then you move on to after school. You work very closely with the after school coordinator, Primetime.
Yes.
Why does it matter what kids do after school other than getting their homework done?
Well, again, it builds positive peer relationships, and there is research to show that children that are in after school are more likely to attend school, are more likely to do well academically, and again graduate from school. So it's important that those children are in after-school programs, but not just any after-school program, after-school programs that are quality, meaning they're providing quality education and quality experiences for them.
So how do you determine that a after-school program is providing what you, Children's Services Council, and the experts you have there believe should be shared with our kids here in Palm Beach County? How do you know?
Well, there's national standards that Primetime, the organization that monitors this, is really looking for those after-school providers to be demonstrating so that they're able to show that they're providing quality services.
So it's more than just playing on the playground.
Yes, although playing is very important.
Oh, that's good to know. Good to
Because
know.
children learn through play. So play is important, but we also need the academic component and just the experiences that children have. So they do all kinds of what they call expanded learning opportunities to really give children other experiences in life. So taking them to the zoo or taking them fishing and things like that. Things that some children may not have experienced before.
So we really took people through, prenatal to older. But what are your priorities? I mean, that's a lot of things going on under the auspices of Children's Services Council. What are some of your personal priorities now that you are the leader of the organization?
Well, some of the first things that I'll be doing as the new CEO is getting out into the community. It's really important that we're out there meeting our stakeholders and our partners, working with them. There's so many opportunities for us to work together collaboratively. So that's really important for me to get to know the different organizations and leaders that are out there. As well as it's really very important that I see the work in action. I feel very strongly about getting out and being able to see whether it's a child care center or whether it's seeing something that's happening in an after-school program. Those are all very important for me to connect to the work.
And you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk, because we actually got to join you at the Florence Fuller Center not long ago. So let's kind of get a view of what you just talked about.
Great.
These children are our pride and joy. Right now we're getting ready to go into one of the 4-year-old, 5-year-old classrooms. These children will be graduating.
Oh, wow. And then entering kindergarten?
Absolutely. They will have a big graduation ceremony, and they will go on and do great things.
What are you doing here, sweetheart?
Put your name down here. Tell her what you're doing.
What you doing?
Coloring the house.
Coloring the house. Very nice job, sweetheart. What type of activities do you have here?
Recently, 2 weeks ago, we had Family Fun Day. We had about 70 parents to come on a Friday at lunchtime. It was just awesome.
That's
We have
great.
trainings for the parents. We have finance training. We have how to buy a home. We try to get what the parents want. We don't give them what we think they should have. We do surveys and we get
Excellent.
information from them, and then they tell us what we want, and we try to provide what they want, and it's going to be beneficial for them.
That's great. Now, do most of the families live right around this neighborhood?
They do Boca and Delray.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see that the kids are completely very, very engaged. And it's interesting they have different workstations for different things. You can see that they're focused on with some children. They're writing their letters and their alphabet and their names. They're engaged in dramatic play. And one of the things I noticed is that everything is on the child level. So that's really important to engage children, that everything is right where they can see it. So, and it's really interesting how they have building station, science station, math station, all those things that kids need to be doing so that they're ready to enter school. So, and they look like they're having a blast in there.
So it's so cute. How can you not love your job when you get to go see the cutest little kids and know that what you're doing every day with your team is truly, truly making a change, a positive change in our neighborhoods?
And we know that it's making a difference because one of my goals is to ensure that we're accountable. I've been with CSC for almost 11 years, so that's been a priority for me from the very beginning. And I feel very strongly that we'll continue to look at whether we're making a difference and where there's opportunities to move in the future to make an even bigger impact.
Well, before we wrap it up, is that your vision? Do you have a vision? Because for me, it would be overwhelming. You have a lot of tools in your toolbox over there. Yes. But do you have a vision really where you would like to see Children's Services Council under your leadership?
Yes. Well, first of all, I do feel, as I mentioned, I've been with CSC for a long time, so I do feel very strongly in our mission and vision and the fact that we need to continue to focus on children 0 to 5 as a priority. Again, though, we do have programs that go and serve prenatal, I should say, through age 18. And another area that I really want to look at is how we can have more of a universal impact. We have a lot of targeted programming, but there's so many opportunities for us to have a broader reach and a broader impact. Some examples would be we're looking to do a parenting campaign. As I mentioned, parenting is so important, and we can all use some help in that area at different times. So that's a really a great way for parents to understand and to understand the services that are out there. And it's as simple as maybe a few tips all the way through something where they maybe need something more intensive. So we want to be able to do something broadly there.
And what I love, and I know it's a trendy word, but it's helpful, is universal.
Yes.
Because again, we have people that may not live here full time, but the things you are doing, the programs we saw, the programs you talk about, are actually impacting the whole community, not just the people they're touching right there at the daycare center or at the pediatric office. It's really that universal, as you said, when kids learn and they graduate, they may actually go to work for some of these businesses.
Yes, yes, it's so important. And the little things you can do, it really have a long-term significant impact. The research supports it, everything that we're funding and moving forward with, so it's really important.
Well, I'm so thrilled because everything we talked about, I've been a taxpayer here for almost as long as CSC's been here, so I appreciate that my dollars are going to something that only makes where I live a better place for everyone, not just myself, but everyone. So thank you, I'm very excited. We're gonna check in on you though and see how everything's going.
I
How's
welcome
that?
it.
You
It's
welcome it,
perfect.
I love that. So if you'd like more information on the programs we discussed or the many other programs that Children's Services Council provides, you have the information on your screen. You can also call them and they'll direct you in the right direction. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we appreciate your time and we hope you and your family are growing up healthy, safe, and strong. Good night.